So as Joffrey, as I was just telling you, this is definitely leader shift in the raw, right?
That's right, Alvin. I'm ready to shift this morning.
Okay, and my co-host is Joffrey Harris, who has a global ministry, and he's located in Orlando. By the way, just quickly, Joffrey, name the number of countries you have visited just this week.
Oh my goodness. I've been in Zambia. I've been in Kenya. I've been in Sierra Leone. I've been in Nepal. And I've been in the Philippines.
And you've been in Springfield, Missouri, which is kind of a foreign country if you live in Orlando. And where were you this morning? We were talking about a gentleman in, where were you?
Zambia.
Zambia.
Yes,
okay,
Africa.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
And you paid no money for airfare.
No airfare.
So we want to thank you, Internet, and we want to thank you, laptop, and people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and the creators of Zoom. So our topic today is an ongoing series of leader shift in the raw, meaning leaders need to be agile, extremely agile, more today than ever. And we are borrowing, we're not borrowing, we're stealing, but we're giving credit to a man who I think is a genius in insights, and that's Carey Nieuwhof. So, Joffrey, today's topic is how to be that agile leader. And we want to encourage, I'm speaking to my friends who are business people. I'm also speaking to people of faith and our partners in Africa. Even though we're giving you new information, new methods, do not be distracted. Your mission is still the same in the business world or in a ministry. Definitely still the same. So today we're going to talk about the three types of leadership, and they're frozen, hesitant, and agile. But before we do that, we're going to do a quick review on what we discussed in the previous video. And Joffrey, would you walk us through that, please?
Yeah, there are three voices of leadership in a crisis. There is motivation, there is interpretation, and there is transformation. And those are three critical elements of how to lead in a crisis.
And for example, the motivational voice would say, we're not a cheerleader, but we're simply going to say, we're going to get through this together. We don't know how, but we will get through this together. Slightly bruised, traumatized, and it might be pretty and ugly and messy, but we will get through this together. And the interpretation voice would say, how would it sound, Joffrey?
Well, we will have to change and scramble every day to survive. And we're going to have our first digital Easter is a great example.
And I truly believe it's going to be the best Easter people have ever seen, because people are becoming to get creative. I mean, that transformational voice will say, and I heard it 2-3 weeks ago, Easter is not canceled. You can't cancel Easter. Talk to Jesus about that. He will come out of the grave and talk to you. But Easter will be different, but it's going to be better. And that the transformational voice is going to ask, how do we do digital church? I mean, live streaming church. And if you don't know, get out of the way and find that 13 or 14-year-old or that 20-year-old that knows how to do live streaming, and let them lead the charge. That's true leadership, using the assets, the resources you have around you.
That's right. Living through the pandemic is like Friday in the Easter story, but the good news is Sunday's coming.
Yeah. On Friday, somebody's going to die, right?
That's right.
And it's going to be ugly and horrible beyond belief. But if you're that agile leader, if you're a believer and you face reality, Sunday's going to be pretty beautiful.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So today we want to quickly, Joffrey, what do we want to do today?
Well, there's three types of leaders, and we want to consider those three, the frozen, the hesitant, and the agile leader.
Right.
And
go ahead. The voice of the frozen, the thought bubbles of the frozen leader. What does he or she say?
He thinks like, well, I can't believe this is happening to me. and all of this is out of my control, and I will never survive this. In other words, it's kind of hopeless.
Right. And I'm a believer in my language, there's no such thing as I can't, and there's no such thing as impossible. It just doesn't exist. We'll do it differently. Now, the
Right.
hesitant leader, how would they sound, Joffrey?
Well, they're thinking about, oh goodness, I don't like this. When are things going to get back to normal?
Right.
Um, we've already made a bunch of changes,
Right.
so let's lock in for a while.
Right. Too
We
many
have to
changes.
pivot again, really? Come on,
Yeah,
come
right.
on. I can't handle all this. We need some stability.
Yeah, one more change. I just got used to the previous change. Well, and I want to speak a moment about the new normal. I think it's a really poor term because it makes people believe that there will be a normal in the future. And I believe the new normal is going to be abnormal and ever changing. That will be our new normal. The frozen leader, the hesitant leader will not survive in that environment going forward.
That,
The
that's
agile
right.
leader, here's the man or woman we want to meet, right, Joffrey?
That's right. That's where we're headed. Is helping leaders become an agile leader that can pivot quickly when things are happening, that he can deal and confront change and not be fearful of it, and go after it. Go
And,
after it.
and Joffrey, I'd like to use you as an example, if I may. Tell me about your journey as an agile leader. Well, you started out rather hesitant. I'll put it nicely. But tell me about your journey as an agile leader over the last 4 years and especially the last several months.
Well, I'm 74 years old, and I was at a point where I was being confronted with technology that I didn't want to deal with because it was changing too quickly, and I wasn't really comfortable with change. And then I came across a coach. Thank God, I came across a coach who challenged me that if I wanted to really reach the vision and the goal of that I'd set for my life of helping share God's love with the world, I needed to get it in gear, and I needed to face my challenge in technology, embrace it, and use it to be able to accomplish the goal that I really spent my life trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and the short.
So
Go ahead.
so that's the change from being a frozen, hesitant leader to realizing, look, I've got to do this. I've got to become agile. I've got to be willing to pivot and change and do whatever I've got to do to accomplish the mission I've been called to.
And Joffrey, hats off to you because I know that you have the scars to prove it. Because I have been the one who's inflicted those scars. And
Yes,
you
I
still
was gonna.
have.
I'm glad you confessed.
Yeah. Well, and you have some
Uh,
stitches still in the back of your head where I hit you with a 2x4, but but the results are worth it. You know,
yeah.
I'm
Uh,
just encouraging people to be more
oh yeah.
agile than
Yeah.
you.
Every stitch was. Yeah.
I,
Every stitch was worth it.
okay, well, and I truly enjoy the 2x4 method because it works for me. But and let's speak to both sides of that. As a coach and as a student, you've got to be nimble and receptive and realize that, I mean, here's our marketplace, so to speak. Here's our stage of life. Joffrey, we deal with a lot of people 50, 60, 70 years old, and they've got to embrace the fact that maybe on their leadership team, they need some new people. Maybe they need to exit leadership, really, if they're not agile right
Sure.
now, but find that
Sure.
20 or 30-year-old or that 13-year-old that understands technology and live streaming that can embrace it and help you. Maybe they're the technical people in your church or your business that can make that happen while you, Joffrey, maintain your one-on-one relationships with clients and leaders in Africa and leaders
Sure.
Uh, but
Sure. And our relationship, Alvin, is a good example of that. I could never do have the all the technical. You don't have the contacts all around the world to do what I do, and so God's called us each to a specific role here, and we've embraced it. And man, is it working
oh,
big time.
it's working and it's changing every day. I find that kind of exciting and kind of difficult at times. Now, Joffrey, I'm using Evernote differently today. Did your screen change?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. But when I described what I think is the perfect or the ideal agile leader. And now, as I walk through this, if you're not this person, don't be discouraged, because I'm not sure I met any one person who does meet this description. Maybe within your team, you can meet all these qualifications. The agile leader says, our mission is too big, too important. To my business friends, your business is too important serving clients to let this crisis kill you. It might slow you down, but your current method isn't working, so let's try a new one. What if we tried this? What if we tried that? What if? And that Joffrey, just yesterday, you and I reached a challenge on how to communicate to Africa due to difficulty with bandwidth and expense of technology. And then I went to work with Evernote, and within about a half an hour, and I did a trial, I did a test in the next half an hour with one of our leaders in Sierra Leone, and it seemed to work. And we're going to find out this week if indeed it did work. But my point is, what if we did this? What if we did that? And you try it, and a fail just gets you closer to success. That is the agile leader and how he or she thinks. Like, things have
Right.
changed, but in the change, what does this make possible?
Yeah, a good current example, Alvin, is people in the restaurant business. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
we're seeing right now on the news that if those folks aren't agile, if they don't make the adjustments on how they're going to accommodate their guests, and what they're going to have to change to gain back the trust of people coming into their establishment. If they're not creative in doing those things, they're going to go out of business.
Yes, and some already have, and to that issue, I'm not going to go in depth, but I had a tremendous story that you're going to hear in the next video. Joffrey, you haven't heard it yet, but my son-in-law, Raymond Gonzalez, is a big hero. He works with SYSCO, SYSCO, and they serve the restaurant business. They serve Panera Bread and others. So obviously, they've been hit pretty hard financially. But
Yes.
Raymond is an agile leader. And now I'm speaking to what I know is public, so I won't share anything that's private. But he approached a blueberry farm, Joffrey, next to you in Florida, and with the idea is, why can't you sell essential things here? Why not things like napkins and sanitary products and so on? And I saw the news just last night, Joffrey, just last night, based on the owner of that blueberry farm and Raymond Gonzalez agile leadership, and then also his company working with, and everybody wins. The customers of the blueberry farm win. The owner of the blueberry farm wins because
Yes.
they might stay in business because of this agile thinking. Raymond not only is, I'm not going to give him credit for saving the country, but he created an additional income stream that helps his company and the other
Yes.
marketing people. And then when things go back to the new normal, abnormal, ever changing normal, that's an income stream that stays there. It's just amazing to me, because necessity is the mother of invention. Crises is the mother of innovation. Agile leadership, it will save companies, it will save your income, and the people that respond like that going forward, you don't need your Harvard MBA to think creatively. In fact, that might get in your way right now. I don't mind saying that, but I just am so excited about some of the changes I see people making, and they're making them intentionally.
You bet. You
This
bet.
and
That's a great example.
Joffrey, is Easter canceled today or Sunday?
Not canceled. No, sir.
It is different. It is better, and I'm excited to just to see how creative and ingenious some people can be. Now, here's and thank you again, Carrie Newhoff. Here's a new concept to me, given to me by Carrie Newhoff, and it's called manage the V.U.C.A. Now, if you're in the military, you know this, but this is what I suggest that you do, not just with your clients, but with your, remember, your team, they're stakeholders. They're your customers, Joffrey. You know,
Yes,
our
sir.
team in Africa and around the globe, they're our customers. So our job today is in every meeting, manage the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and ambiguity, and do it in an honest and transparent way. That manage the V.U.C.A. Thank you again, Carrie Newhoff. That
That's
is,
right. Gary's a great thinker.
oh, he is. And Joffrey, walk us through this. What would you expect, or what could you see with an agile leader that's your trusted leader?
Well, beginning with the first thing is leading from the front. You can't just stand there and tell people what to do. You've got to lead them, and you need to lead by example. They need to see the model of what you're doing and how you're doing it. And if you just delegate it without leading as by example, they don't have the benefit of seeing that. You need to lead by total transparency, be genuine, be authentic, lead by with grace and truth. You know, throw a little sugar on the difficulty occasionally because it's going to be hard sometimes.
And Joffrey,
Uh,
that's where you and I share. You give the grace, I give the truth, right?
oh yeah, we've embraced. I think both of us have embraced both of those. But it was a process, right?
It took a while for me to
uh,
sugarcoat anything.
yeah, and another thing about a trusted leader is uh, leading in the face of change, things that are unpredictable, abnormal, like what we're going through now with the pandemic. I mean, the people will trust someone if they see they're genuine, if they see they're not just being motivational, trying to be motivational, but I've lost my note. I've lost my notes.
Oh, well, okay. I did give you those notes again, Joffrey. And just an aside to everyone, uh, as far as
There we
being
go.
agile, Joffrey's upgraded his system. I've upgraded my system. But we do know that the servers at Buffer, I mean, they sent me an email, they're being slammed. So I pay a little bit of for Buffer, but their email in a very gracious way said, those that pay more will get dibs. They'll be in the front of the line on the server. So we might experience some technical issues, but please continue, Joffrey.
Well, people will appreciate you as a trusted leader if you have the ability to pivot quickly at every fork in the road. Uh, um, Even though you don't have a clear, visible target, laser beam clarity, and know that you have a clear vision out there that you want to get to, but you're not stuck with just one method. You're able to pivot and change when you need to.
Yeah.
So those are some things that people are looking for in a trusted leader.
Well, and even, I mean, here's a real life example, Joffrey. You have a ministry, it's global, you have a big goal, and people might doubt your goal, but you're a third of the way there in in the first quarter. So you're right on target. Actually, you're ahead of target. But along the way, you know, we've been using technology and we've had to pivot several times. Yesterday, I made another pivot, and it's just due to some challenges that are connectivity, financial challenges, cultural challenges. and us maybe sometimes not even asking the right questions to get answers from our partners in Africa. But you have to be in that mindset of, gosh, let's pivot again. I find it very exciting. What can we learn from this, and what can we do with the new challenge? That's the Agile Leader and the Agile Leadership team.
That's
Your
right.
team needs to buy into this thinking, Joffrey.
That's right. We started with an impossible goal of reaching 54 countries in Africa in 2020.
Can't be
And
done, Joffrey. Cannot be done. Not two old
no,
guys and a laptop. No, cannot be
and
done.
honestly, uh, we had no clue how that was going to happen. All we knew was it would honor God, and it would be, a good thing to take His love to every one of those countries. But we knew that in order to reach the continent, we needed to reach the leaders. So that we set that goal, and we started out, and through agile leadership and talking with the leaders we were working with, asking them questions and letting them help guide the process, and not trying to do it all ourselves, we came up with a strategy that helped us achieve in the first quarter. We're really ahead of our goal to reach all 54 countries.
And
So, but that came through this process of agile leadership, of asking the people we're working with questions and helping them get involved in the solutions.
and I want to remember our audience again, Joffrey, is that Joffrey's age 74. And when I first met you, you were definitely a digital immigrant. You were new to technology.
Yes.
New to the point of, Joffrey, I think we need to turn on the power button to make it work. Almost there, right?
Yeah. Do you have your computer plugged in?
Yeah, right. And is your phone fully charged for the next meeting?
Yeah.
But then, it was painful and messy for everybody involved. I mean, we can admit that. We're being transparent, and not everything went well. Joffrey was not the ideal student. I am definitely not the ideal coach. But we did approach it with transparency, honesty, and then a lot of prayer. Dear Lord, help my brain not to explode today, because I'm not patient and I get angry easily. But it worked,
That's
and it
right.
is working.
And my response was, please turn off that fire hydrant. You're giving me too much information.
Too much information too fast. But and the reason we're delivering this is because we believe that we're in a unique position. In other words, we're doing this intentionally because I feel really called and impressed to do this for church leaders as well as my business leader friends, in that we're having some fun here, but we're trying to take away all your excuses. There are no excuses for not embracing technology. Joffrey, when you have a question, I remind you to go to 2 universities, correct? What are those universities?
That's right. The University of Google, and I forgot the other one.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's all right. Go to the University of Google. Go to the University of YouTube. And I'll give you another example. I'm not a paid representative for Zoom, but I've gone to Zoom and I saved as a favorite the Zoom YouTube channel. And then I saved as a favorite the Zoom tutorials. And I'm in the process of walking through 50 video tutorials of Zoom. So if you're not using Zoom to its full extent, it's your fault, because there are 2 free universities, University of Google, University of YouTube. And if you don't know this and you're not using those resources, they are free and they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they can accelerate your learning speed too. So I'm glad you remembered those, Joffrey.
That's right. And you need to have a pencil handy so you can remember what they are.
It's okay. Because I wanted to make one aside too, is that my mother will turn, I forgot, 93 this month. And my mother is a spiritual giant. I believe she's an intellectual giant. And I wanted to impress upon you, at her age, She is now the co-host of a daily online Bible study. Now, some of you might laugh at that because it's not a big deal. It's only under 3 minutes, but it's every day. And when I asked her to do it, you know what her reply was? Yes, I'll do it. Show me where the button is. And of course we evolved as we went along, trying to make the audio better and trying to make the video shorter. But if you are over age 94, I will give you an excuse. But if you're under the age of 94, I'm going to give you 0 excuses, Joffrey.
That's true.
And I'm going
That's
to
true.
apply the pressure every day.
And your mom does a great job too. I understand from some of your results and people watching that they love her. They love her part of the show.
They love her, and she's not afraid of live video. A good example is yesterday. We walked through what we're going to do and say. We spent about 5 minutes doing that. And then yesterday, when we shifted from me to her, she said, "Oh, I forgot what I was going to say." I said, "It's okay. Nobody listens to me," because they've told me that. They listen because they want to hear your blessing. And so she gives her blessing at the end of the call. But she's doing that because in the last 2 months, she has seen a tablet for the first time and a headset for the first time. She's embraced it to her skill level, but there's no reason at any age not to embrace the change and see what you can do with the change. It's incredible.
That's right. We have a senior adult group that I meet with every week, and all of those folks are plugging in to Zoom, and instead of, now that we can't meet physically, we meet online, and we're just moving right ahead with our study. There's nothing has slowed us down.
And Joffrey, are your digital relationships real?
They are real, unbelievably real. I've got several examples, but I can just tell you it's falsehood to think that you can't develop deep, intimate, committed relationships using technology. And I've got proof of that with them, my son, because he's almost like a son to me.
Yes, and I know that out of three or four of your national leaders, I consider them good friends today. And we talk, not only do we talk daily, Joffrey, we talk multiple times during the day using different technology. And those are, in my opinion, they're deep, close, meaningful relationships to me. They're
Yes,
real.
sir.
They're,
yes, sir.
I mean, all the preconceived ideas people have about technology, throw them out the door, please, because we will get through this together. We will be better and stronger on the other side of this, wherever and whenever that will be. Joffrey, any
That's right.
closing comments before I close this in our normal way? Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think when we get through this pandemic, I believe that what is going to happen, we're going to be able to reconnect in our personal face-to-face relationships gradually. But I think what is going to happen, because of what we have learned in the midst of this trial, it's going to even enhance those relationships.
Yes.
Because we're going to be able to communicate more with one another, more regularly, and so it's going to be good for everybody.
And I would ask you too, please stay with us for the next video, which you're going to see shortly, is that because we'll have some real live examples of people who are shifting their leadership and leadership style, some real live examples of some very agile, creative, innovative leaders. And in addition to that, here's what you should expect: another video regarding this topic with specific examples, and then as I am able to connect with, I'm going to interview some people across the nation, across the world, that we highlight in that next video. That's going to be exciting because I've seen some, Joffrey, I've seen some amazing, exciting, creative people. And, you know, crisis is the mother of innovation. So embrace the crisis as well as embrace the innovation.
That's so true. I'm looking forward. You got me excited now. I'm looking forward to those.
You should be excited. You're not the only example. There's some other people out there that are as intelligent and innovative as you are, Joffrey.
That's good to know.
Okay. I say that right before you send me the check to my weekly fee.
Yeah, I do pay you the big bucks.
Oh,
That's
you
right.
do. So, Joffrey, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor. And until we meet again, may God's peace be with you. Joffrey, thanks so much. This is just too much fun.
Amen. Enjoyed being with you.